Hey, family, it's Dr. Bryant, Mindset for Freedom. How are you? I hope that you're enjoying your day in Florida. Thank goodness it's starting to get warm now again. Today was about 75, so you can see I'm outside. Got on my little short sleeve. Still need a little sleeve, but it's great. It's just great to be outdoors again and not be cold. You know, once you move to the south, you be trying to run away from the cold. You don't be thinking about this going to be this cold, but you know, we all had that weather thing hit everywhere from the north. But anyway, it's getting better. But I wanted to talk to you for a minute today about choices. I think that's what I want to focus on. You know, choices, because we are the choices that we make. Does that make sense? You are the choice that you make. So, for instance, okay, you make a choice that you're not going to exercise. Well, duh, yeah. So, and sometimes the choices that we have made and the habits that we have formed don't give us the best outcome in life. So, you have to give yourself some grace, but you have to have some insight. And I'm talking to the people that pray, you know, people that are looking for God to give them, to help them. And my take, this is how I see things. Um, you can ask Yeshua because you should ask, because he said you have not because you ask not. So you can ask Yeshua to give you wisdom and insight to do better, but you have to want to do better. Does that make sense? You can't be expecting for someone else, that's what I was talking about yesterday, to do more for you than you're even doing for yourself. You have to not be angry. So, choices. So angry with God because of a situation that you might find yourself in until you don't even talk to God anymore. That's something. You probably could have never even thought that you, after being in a relationship, that's what you called it, with God. And I have some concerns about that because, you know, how could you spend the majority of your life, I'm talking to church folks, in a relationship, so you say, with God, and then when the choices that you have made come back and nip you in the butt, some type of sickness happens in your life from stress or from diet, from whatever you have done that we shouldn't have done, because we do. It is what it is. But nevertheless, you have to deal with it. But some people get so afflicted and they was expecting, first of all, they didn't understand why it happened. You know, how could this have happened to me? I'm a good person. You know, all I do is good things with people. I go to church, you know, I keep the Sabbath, if you keep the Sabbath, you know. So you're feeding your mind this story of how good you were with your practices, but you're forgetting that you didn't have inner standing and inner insight about your body and how to take care of it. Choices. We have to learn how to take care of this avatar, our mental, our emotional, and our inner man. Be careful. You know, so many people are helping God's people. Read the labels on stuff. If it says stuff that you don't understand, put it back. Stop getting the quick fix and using things that have been in cans for you don't know how long. Choices. When you're eating something, watch what you eat in the morning. You know, are you, and I know I'm stepping on somebody's toe, are you having a bagel for breakfast? I'm just saying. Are you having a bagel for breakfast and then just sitting down? Ah, how about if you had an egg sandwich for breakfast as opposed to the bagel? I'm just saying, just kind of go with me because, you know, the choices that we're making, they're impacting us. And you know they're impacting you. And then you turn around and you eat all these carbs and you're not conscious of it. And you know we love our snacks. So just kind of be conscious of the choices you make. I want you to be conscious of the thoughts that you think, because that's a choice. And here's where I want to dive off at into a deep dive for just a moment. Being conscious of the thoughts that you think, because we all have trauma. I want you to learn your triggers. I want you to learn what your triggers are. Write them down. What triggers you to slide into a mental scale of hopelessness? What is it that triggers you? Then I want you to look at what makes you feel good. Now I'm giving you some therapy. What things do you think of or do that you feel good about? Write it down. You might feel good about cooking. You might feel good about exercising. You might feel good about music. You might feel good about meditating. You know, what things make you feel good? What things make you feel good? And then what are your triggers? And the reason why I want you to think about your triggers, because I want you to go on a scale from like 1 to like 100. And I want you to look at when, I'm going to just use an example, when somebody starts yelling at me. See, because remember, the amygdala is going to fire up, because the prefrontal cortex, the mind, the reasoning mind, is not online when you get triggered into a trauma. So when somebody starts yelling at you, if you're in a relationship and things are going a different way and somebody's not agreeing with you, that's a trigger for you. I want you to take a pause and know what the triggers are and know what happens. So you might say, when somebody starts raising their voice and I start getting agitated, the minute that happens, I am like let's say like a 50, because we're 1 to 100. So if you don't stop your mind and your emotions when you're at like a 50, that trigger is going to move even deeper down the line. Now listen to what I'm talking about, because I'm talking about the psychology of how your mind operates, how your hippocampus operates, how your prefrontal cortex operates, which is your logical reasoning mind, and how the amygdala operates. Remember, the fight, flight, and freeze. When you get triggered past a certain point, whatever that is for you, your amygdala is automatically activated. What you want to do is to keep it from being activated. You want to calm it down, the emotion of it down. So when somebody starts yelling at you or doing something at you, look at that list of things. And it could be that you make yourself happy. I want you to just start laughing. Ha, 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha. Make yourself happy to bring the number down. What happens when you do that? Now you can logically reason. You can reason better about what you're going to do with what's happening. See, because once the amygdala is set off and you go to like an 80 or a 90, your prefrontal cortex, and you know I'm right, because those of you that have anxiety and things that triggered you, you know this is right. You cannot reason. Your reasoning, logical reasoning skills are shot. They are nowhere to be found. Why? Because the amygdala and the trauma, because trauma doesn't play nice with other memories. It isolates the neurons from the other memories that help you to bring yourself back to logical reasoning. So what I want you to do when I say choices, make the choice to understand what the triggers are. Make the choice to understand what things make you happy. And then if you don't have a lot on that happy list, I need you to find something. Remember yesterday I talked about praise and worship, but I need you to find what makes you happy. And I want you to bask yourself in your happiness. And when that trigger comes, I want you to consciously make the choice to be happier. When you do that, You're going to activate your prefrontal cortex and you're going to know exactly what to do to stop yourself from going down the rabbit hole of anxiety where you can't reason with the trauma. Okay? Because when you can't reason, the trauma takes over and you go into this dark place of depression and you cannot attach yourself to people. You cannot attach yourself to thoughts. We cannot bring you out of it. You are just in a dark place and fear takes over. I want to keep you from the door and from the clutches of fear. And that is how you do it. That is the prescription. Know the triggers. Know the things that make you happy. Set off the choice to be happier. And then think about what you can do differently in the moment of the anxiety. Because you don't have to be in that situation. It's the choice. You don't have to hear the person yelling at you. You don't have to listen to them. You can tune them out. You have that power, but you have to know that you have that power and you have to make the choice to be able to do it. So choices, the choice is yours. What did Yeshua say? Choose this day who you will serve. Will you serve being happy, which is your highest self? Or will you serve anxiety, depression, and the life of a trauma victim? Will you always feel like the victim? Remember, you're the one that's coming to save you. Everything we need is inside of us, and it starts with knowledge. So I hope this helps you. Like and share. Share your comments with me. I've been studying a lot about trauma, so I wanted to share that with you. Understand these words. They are very important. Amygdala, hippocampus, and prefrontal cortex. Understand these words for you who find yourself in trauma. And we all have trauma. But some of us, the triggers take us down that rabbit hole too often and take our time. And that's not the choice we want to make for our life. We want to make the choice where we live our best life. So every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. How about you? Until next time, this is Dr. Bryant, Mindset for Freedom. We'll talk again soon. Shalom.